Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the NRW where nerds rule the world. I am Heather Hurt. That is KAYFABEYBABY, and we're about to get a wee bit serious here. Hopefully in a good way, though. Before we get started, let's just run right into it. Checkpoint Zoo. Here's the trailer.
Давай, быстрее. Помоги нам. Руками берите, блядь. Давай. Все вокруг вставай. Давай.
Russia has invaded Ukraine by land, air and sea.
The ferocious assault on Kharkiv, Ukraine's second city, continues.
Здесь просто животных. Это реабилитация животных. Это то место, где приезжали. На что нам это? Причем здесь животные?
We couldn't leave our animals in such terrible situation. And so we began the evacuation.
Поїхали.
А що, через так ні, а чого ти?
Олександр каже, давайте привозьте до мене тварин. Запропонував, я навіть думаю, що він сам не усвідомлював, що далі буде.
Жена была в Черновцах. Это было первое, о чем я думал, что она это не видит.
Birds, turtles, monkeys.
Не залишилося жодного сантиметра, жодного клаптика, ні будинку.
А как будет Ноев ковчег?
Noah's Ark.
Да, Noah's Ark.
Боремся за каждого.
They are heroes. They were heroes every day.
Heavy stuff. Checkpoint Zoo is a documentary that has been out roaming the festival circuit for a little while now, and as you can see from the trailer and from the posters behind KAYFABEYBABY, this is an award-winning documentary. It was funded by many people who love animals, who are against the war, the Russian-Ukraine war, who are against the unprecedented war that Russia brought upon Ukraine, very, very simply. And the animals that were left, that should never have been left behind, that should never have been considered a target. And they technically were not a target. They were just right on the outskirts of Kharkiv, which meant that they were just in quote unquote in the way. They were in the way of the war, making them a easy place to kind of get hit. This incredible Checkpoint Zoo, they were not Checkpoint Zoo, Feldman Eco Park, which is what this place, which the documentary is about, was hundreds or thousands of square feet of land. They had a school, they had therapy programs, they had animal therapy programs, rehabilitation programs, and they actually had one of the most diverse zoological sets in Europe at the time. And it wasn't there, they had nothing to do with the war. They're just animals, they were just there. And this talks about Alexander Feldman, who is the owner and operator, his story, and how they got his animals out. It is an emotional story, and kind of a signifier of how unnecessary this war is overall. Does not. The bloodshed has not ended. There has been no ceasefire. It does not matter what Trump says. There will not, there's not going to be, not for a little while. And I'm sorry to bring in politics here, but this is bad. And Checkpoint Zoo is exemplification of that. So with that said, this film was written and directed by Joshua Zeman with his co-writer Daniel Lonsbury, and of course it was produced by oh my God, why am I blanking? Leonardo DiCaprio. There we go. I know who I'm talking about. I know Leo.
He's somebody knows him
somewhere. I'm tired. I think I'm tired of him. I'm so tired of him. That's why. Anyway,
it's one battle after another, you know.
He can't figure his shit out. With that said, KAYFABEYBABY actually got to watch this a few months ago. I'm definitely in the minority of critics who have watched this last, but I think both of us are in the majority when it comes to our opinion. This will not be a long review. We're just going to kind of get down to the nitty gritty. So KAYFABEYBABY, what are your thoughts?
So our mutual pals, John Jones over at the Peach Review, who has a quote, I think on one of these posters that are out there, as well as within that trailer that we just saw, he was just talking its praises along with our pal Anthony Francis, who we've had on to do reviews with us as well, over at the Movie Review and Screen Comments. They were just like all last year. They caught this all along the festival circuit, and they're like, Patrick, have you seen Checkpoint Zoo? Patrick, have you seen Checkpoint Zoo? Has Heather seen Checkpoint Zoo? She loves animals. Have y'all seen it? Y'all got to see this. And I was like, man, I really want to see this film. And eventually, I was able to see it. And yeah, it's an immensely powerful, important film. I've seen a lot of documentaries centered around the war in Ukraine, as I'm sure Heather as well, and the senselessness of it all, and the BS that we're getting fed by our own U.S. government about it, because he's siding with Russia. He's his lapdog. Anyway, there's some very important things, docs of centered around Ukraine, and we've had quite a bit of those filmmakers on those projects that we've covered that's on the channel right now. But Checkpoint Zoo struck a nerve with both myself and Heather, I'm sure. We are animal lovers. They don't deserve to be caught in this situation, as said in that trailer as well. They're innocent in all of this, but they found themselves in this and being traumatized. Animals get traumatized, y'all, if y'all didn't know. And that is brilliantly said in the trailer as well. Well, and in the film, these animal handlers and what they're dealing with. And so, yes, I was super excited to see it. It finally happened, and I'm happy Heather and I can now talk about it to just shed light on this doc. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's kind of, I'm sure when Heather starts going on her review of it, doesn't really have any negative comments. It's just bringing to life important stuff that we should all know, and it's bringing to light these important people that sacrificed of themselves, and literally they are people that passed away in the process of this film. The people that were rescuing, that the filmmakers were documenting in their efforts to save these animals, and it breaks your heart. And it's a film that, I'm the empath here at the NRW. I was crying. But I was also cheering, and I'm happy I was able to check it out. And it is deserving of the praise from our pals Anthony and John, our fellow critics. How about you, Heather?
I'm in a very similar boat. I know that I've said it. I know that KAYFABEYBABY and I have talked about it before. In dangerous situations, when you are evacuating, you take your pets with you. They have no idea what's going on. There is regulation that was created because of Hurricane Katrina here in the U.S. That has been echoed in other parts of the world, and actually that the regulation was based off of from other places. Animals they are innocent in all of the human decision, and they don't deserve to deal with what we are forcing them to deal with. So to begin, I just want to emphasize, even though I've said this a couple of times, if there is ever a situation in which you need to evacuate, please take your pets. Please, please, please take your pets. If they survive the event, they will not have food, they will not have water, they will not have shelter. And this is Checkpoint Zoo is kind of the ultimate telling of that. at the beginning, you hear the handlers talk about how the park used to have well over 100 or over 1,000, I think 1,000 attendees who worked in the field, making food, cleaning the animals, cleaning cages. To in less than a week, they only had 10 people. 10 people who were gracious, who were willing to risk their lives, who were moving around mortar shells to get to animals. This is one of the most heartbreaking documentaries I think I've ever watched, while also being one of the most heartwarming, if that makes sense. There are genuinely amazing people out there. Amazing people. And I also want to, that's a cat hair.
Pet owners, y'all were pet owners.
I don't even know how that happened in the middle of the statement.
It works with it.
I want to connect this to, I actually got an interview, another set of, I got some journalists for a HBO Max documentary coming out, Armed with Only a Camera, about a journalist who was also killed in the Ukraine war, in the Russia-Ukraine war. And there are people, there are journalists, there are documentarians, there are philanthropists, there are chefs on the front lines working to make sure people are fed, viewed, and seen, and that things are getting taken care of. In times like what we are seeing here in the US, the one thing that we will always have are images. And Checkpoint Zoo is the amalgamation of everything we need right now for the history books, for sanity. And yes, it is incredibly difficult. I will say this. If I love animals with all my heart and soul, and most audience members will know this. Most of I actively go to KAYFABEYBABY before I see certain movies to ask if the animal dies. This movie, I would probably not seek out from a triggering point of view. You should, I should say that. But I will give you a warning. Animal cruelty, not due to the handlers, not due to the documentarians, simply because this is a war. Animal cruelty, human life. It is a cycle, and you will see it in this documentary. It is unbelievably heavy. So just to bring it all back, my review is that this will be one of the hardest documentaries you will ever watch, while also being one of your favorites that you'll ever watch. KAYFABEYBABY, any last thoughts?
Completely agree. And because of how you are with documentaries and animal, as you said, we spoke, you always hit me up and I'm like, yo, if I know something, I try to give you as much knowledge as I can. This one was kind of a mixed bag for me when I was talking to you about it, because just from that statement you said, it's one of the most hardest you'll ever watch, but also the sweetest and amazing, humanity and animal love combined, for a greater good and its importance. But yeah, it just was really well done. And I just hope we learn again. And sometimes we're very gloom about this when we talk about what people should watch, because you and I both know in certain ways, it's because of the world we're living in. The people that should see it aren't seeing these things. We're going to still yell it from the high heavens. But it hurts. But again, and what I've also flipped and said with that being said, I hope it inspires us though, for those of us that care, to continue to care, instill that care, and keep pushing it forward. And hopefully we can change the world. Until those that won't listen will listen. But just a beautiful documentary, extremely well done. Props to everybody that the filmmakers that helped document these people that were handlers, that everybody that was trying to help save this zoo. I hope we remember them, and just I love this is why I love documentaries, why I love this type of film, because it just brings and elevates issues that we need to be more aware of. And yeah, it's extremely well done, and I think it was probably one of the best documentaries. It's won a bunch of festival awards. It's now available. I'll have links in the description. I think it's like checkpointzoo.com, because I don't think it's available digitally yet, but it was released in theaters, a limited release. And there's still some, as of this recording, some future screenings at some theaters, and then I'm sure it'll have a digital and additional, probably a streaming debut soon, now that it's out of the festival circuit. But definitely recommend if you can catch it. It's just really well done.
Agreed. Just to emphasize, KAYFABEYBABY and I are always for volunteer. We are always for keeping your place up. Resist, and stand up, stand up, stand up. Use your voice when you can, and do what you can to better this planet. That's all we can do. We can make the world a better place by exposing injustice, by sharing true stories, and by ensuring that history is aware of everything that happens, both good and bad. So with that, Checkpoint Zoo, as KAYFABEYBABY just said, you can check out checkpointzoo.com to see screenings. For those of you in the Washington, D.C. area, where KAYFABEYBABY and I are, of course, the closest to us is in Pennsylvania. And unfortunately, for most of the country, most of the screenings are in the Pennsylvania area. There are some here and there. I think there's one or two in California. But it is still screening right now. It is probably going to continue on the festival circuit, because I think the festival circuit goes until November for the 24 to 25 year cycle. With that, hopefully it'll be probably on Apple TV and Amazon Prime like usual after that. Definitely check it out. We strongly suggest Checkpoint Zoo. We don't really have much to spoil. It's just an incredibly touching, very well filmed, very heartfelt, you will feel every emotion documentary. If you have already seen this documentary, if you went to one of the screenings in DC or otherwise, if you disagree about that, you thought that if you thought this was a bad documentary, have you ever watched a documentary in your life? If you did not like how this story was told, if there is something that really, really touched you, tell us below. And actually, here, let's do something a little bit more heartwarming today. If you watch this, tell us your favorite animal when you go visit the zoo. What's that one animal you absolutely have to see? For me, it's always the tigers. Tigers are my favorite. And like, subscribe, share, all those things. KAYFABEYBABY, real quick, what's your favorite animal to see at the zoo?
Ooh, the lion.
But
chimpanzees, monkeys, because I've always wanted a monkey, a chimpanzee.
They throw poop at you.
Well, what was it? Tom Selleck, those 80s movies, because he always had I remember seeing that with my parents, and I was like, oh, I want a pet chimpanzee. Yeah.
There we go. All right. Tell us your favorite animal below.
Michael Jackson had one, I think, too, at one point.
I wouldn't put Michael Jackson in this conversation right now, but
I'm just remembering mine. I'm just, vomiting at the mouth. Who had chimpanzees? Yeah.
Like, subscribe, share, all those things, and make sure you check out checkpointzoo.com. You have a good day.